Okay, the next point which we will discuss today are some clues to self knowledge. Some hints I will give you as to how, see, he asked a very good question, the exact state of samadhi, and how do we get there exactly? What are the clues available in our everyday experience which can lead us to that? Something of this we will discuss. You have to observe very carefully to catch the points, but I will tell you this, naito it will not strike you. If it does not strike you, it will not mean anything to you. I will give you a number of clues. Sit straight all of you and pay attention. ये एक meditation जैसा ही है. आप देखिए. The very first clue which I will tell you is, what are we studying? Clues to self knowledge. How to know about the self just through clues in your everyday life. Now observe this. The first clue is your sense of I-ness has remained the same so far, although your body and mind have gone through all the experiences of life, isn't it? See, you were that baby, then you became a toddler, then you became a child, and then a teenager, and now you are a young person. You have passed through so many experiences, but your sense of I has remained the same. Body has changed, mind has changed enormously, but I sense has not changed. It is unpunctuated by time and by space. What a great clue this is. How do you remain changeless when body and mind has changed? It is a clue to a changeless reality in you which you have not observed. This is one clue which Vedanta gives you. Situations, objects, world, everything will change, but your sense of yourself does not change. Please see this. The second clue is, you see, to think, some amount of effort you have to put. You have to put attention to something. To become conscious of an object, you have to consciously pay attention. To think of a person or to interact with a person, you have to consciously direct your attention outward. Just to be aware, do you need any effort? Just to be aware. That means awareness is your real nature. If that awareness is invested in thought and attention, you become conscious of objects and people and other things. If it is uninvested, you are just there. What does not require mediation, does not require effort is primary. That is your real nature. These are very basic clues. Right now it is there available to your experience. You have not noticed it. We are just helping you notice it. See this clearly. Then, if your thoughts are coming into your awareness and moving out of it, your emotions are coming, just now watch your mind and see what is happening. Many things are popping up in your mind and falling out also. You are remembering something, that also moves out. Some conscious thought comes, that also moves out. Some emotion pops up, that also goes out. Now it is going in and out of what? Your awareness. When it comes into your awareness, you become aware of that thought. When it goes out, well, it just falls out of your perception. This is what is happening. Please see it. Right now it is happening. When you become conscious, now see, suddenly if I draw your attention to a PPT, a slide, then you become conscious of it. Your awareness got invested in that. Everything is moving in and out of your awareness. Please see this. Which means what? The primary reality about you is your awareness. Everything moves in and out of it. See, this door is there. If you pass through this door, in and out, everybody passes in and out of this door. Every object passes in and out of this door. The reality here is the door then. Isn't it? Everything else is moving in and out of it. Your awareness is like that. Everything, when it comes into your awareness, you become conscious of it. When it moves out of your awareness, you do not know what it is, what it means. So you see, your awareness is the primary reality about you. This is what Vedanta is telling you. Everything moves in and out of your awareness. When you stop thought, the third clue I am giving you, if you stop thought, what remains over? Nothing? See? Awareness remains over. Just plain awareness remains over if you stop thought. That is why you never ask, well, do I exist or not? Do you ever ask a question like this? I am not sure if I exist. You always exist. What exists always? Thoughts don't exist always. You exist always. You are awareness. Please see it. It's in your own experience. Then see the 3 states which I told you, that is the 4th clue. You are experiencing Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupti every day. Now please see this, you are common to the 3 states, isn't it? You were present, you are common, the common factor there is you. Now in the dream also you have different bodies, different minds. So what is common? In Sushupti you are absolutely, you don't know if body and mind existed, both have shut down, your senses have shut down, mind has shut down, but you remained over. In the dream you had a different body, still you remained over. So what is it that remains over? Are you catching the point? You are the common factor of the 3 states of your experience every day. But you take up different bodies in your dream, isn't it? Maybe you saw Superman movie, you became Superman in dream. But that somebody has recorded that experience. Please see this. And in Sushupti you are bodiless in a sense. You have recorded the state of non-experience. Now I wouldn't say non-experience, non-perception of anything. The experiencer was there, and then again you are saying in the waking state, well, this is how I experience the 3 states. So what does it mean? Obviously you have been there but in different bodies and minds. So the common factor is you as awareness, not as body and mind. Then this is called the Mahatarka, this is called the great logic of Mandukya Upanishad. Anvay Vyatireki Yukti, this is trying to find the unchanging common factor of an experience. Then see, in ordinary, the next clue I am giving you, are you seeing the importance of these clues? What are they pointing towards? See, in normal perception, this physical light is required for you to perceive anything. But tell me, who lights up your dreams? What light is that? How do you see the dream as real, something real? It has its impact on you. You experience the dream, isn't it? In what light? What is that light? Think and tell me. The light of your awareness. That functions like light. That's why light is used as a very strong metaphor to explain awareness. You light up your dream, create the object, spin your dream, experience it, get impacted by it, get up and say what you have experienced. It's entirely your creation. So please see, that's why the dreamer's self in Advaita Vedanta is called Taijasa, Tejomayatva Taijasa. That Tej is nothing but awareness through which you see the dream. Then the wonderful thing about a dream is, in the dream itself you don't ask, is this a dream? If you ask, you would be in the waking state. In the dream is absolutely real to you, 100% real. Only when you wake up you know that is a dream. So it has such powerful impact on you, that's what I am telling you. These are real experiences for you, they are not just thought constructs. And out of that you are drawing the clues for existential experience, Vedanta. You light up your dreams, you as awareness have lit up that dream and seen it. Acknowledge this. Then the fact of your memory, that is another powerful clue. आपकी समझ में आ रहा है या am I going too fast? Catch each point. How is memory possible, you tell me? A preceding event, a succeeding event, a common factor has joined the two. That's why you remember both the events. Now who is the common factor there? You have remained over. You saw this experience, you saw that experience, you connected the two. Memory is only possible if there is an enduring knower. Please see this, which is common to both the experiences. That is why in Brahma Sutras actually they say this, the fact of memory, due to the fact of memory, the immutability of the cognizer has to be recognized. It's a very important clue, very valid point. Then see, you are composed of so many different parts. You have hands and feet and face and sense organs, so many things, but you feel you are one unit, one composite unit. You function as one unit, isn't it? So naturally you are not merely identified with the body. You function as one composite unit. A sense of changelessness and continuity is there in that unit. Although parts are changing, body is changing, hair is growing, this is happening, that is happening, but you think you are one unit, changeless unit. This itself is a clue that the reality about you is changeless. Then that is why you are not even aware of your age. You ask anybody, no matter what his age is, even a 70-year-old, he will have to think to say I am 70-year-old. By himself, in his own experience, he doesn't feel he is 70-year-old. ये आपको समझ में आ रहा है? Because awareness has no age. No matter what age you are, when you identify with the body, you feel you are 20-year-old or 30-year-old or 40-year-old or 50-year-old. If you are not identified with the body, you have no sense of age. You always feel young. Awareness never ages. So this is how many clues are there, you see? Isn't this a very valid clue? आप किसी को भी पूछो, they will, unless they consciously think of their age, they will not feel that age. Then there is a distinct feeling of you being within the body. You feel you are in here, isn't it? And you are conscious of the body. The body is not conscious of you, isn't it? Is the body conscious of you? You are conscious of the body. So you feel you are in this body. What is in this body? Tell me. That itself means you are not the body. You are functioning through a body. Isn't this a very valid logical clue? Hands and feet are not conscious of you. You are conscious of your hands and feet. Sense organs are not conscious of you. You are conscious of your sense organs. You are separate from them. If you analyze anything as being an object for you, you are separate from it. Drigdrishya vivek, this is what is called Drigdrishya vivek, isn't it? You are not identified with it. If I see my organs, my body as separate, it means I am not the body. If I see my mind as separate, I am not the mind, isn't it? It's so obvious. We consciously go and get identified with this and that and start claiming I am this and that. In your own experience, you are never this and that. Oh, you are only self-aware. Because this training is not given to you, you go and identify immediately with this and that and start claiming I am this and that. See if this is true or not. I leave it to you. देखो, a simple example I can give you. आप अपनी selfie लेते हो ना? लेते हो ना? Now tell me, in that selfie, who is, when you look at your selfie and admire it, who is admiring whom? Who is admiring what? Tell me. Practical Vedanta. We will draw from your own experience. Your mind is seeing your body, and just now you are seeing that your mind is seeing your body. Your intellect is seeing your mind, seeing your body. Three elements of your own personality have come here. But all this happens where? In your awareness. In your awareness, your intellect functions so as to see your mind seeing your body. हो रहा है कि नहीं है? You are that awareness alone. The rest is the instrumentation. आपके हाथ के यंत्र है ये सब. You can choose to identify, you can choose to disidentify, but you are not that. See this. This much you should see. Truth is to be seen, then it will have tremendous impact on your mind. Just see it as it is. You know, truth has corrosive effect. Once you know the truth about something, it will corrode its way into your personality, whether you want it or not. So just know the truth, that's all. Then let me give you, I have plenty of clues, but I will give you a few more. You always see yourself as an aware entity. Do you feel you are unaware anytime? body is not aware. Mind is not aware until it comes in contact with that awareness. But your sense of yourself is always one. See, you feel enlivened. Isn't this true? Life, you feel full of life, you feel full of vitality. Which means what? Your very nature is that. Your very nature is that. Your nature is not immediate identification. ये हम करते हैं because of so many external factors. Maybe it is required in some particular situation, so you identify with this and that. Maybe it is required for your social status, so you identify with this and that. Your own existence, if you analyze without any compunction, without any form of pressure, you will see what your real nature is, what Vedanta is telling you. You are only self-awareness that is manifesting through this body-mind complex. This is what they are trying to tell you. To see yourself, next clue, to see yourself you need a mirror. To know yourself, what do you need? Think and tell me. To see yourself you need a mirror. To know yourself? Yes, he said it right. All you need is awareness. If you are just self-aware, you will know, you will not just know who you are, you will also know what you are working through. You will know your mind, you will know the function of your body. The more you cultivate awareness, the more you heighten awareness through definite techniques, the more this will appear very obvious to you. That is why you see these are like steps. Yoga leads to Vedanta. This understanding leads to that knowledge. See it it's in your own experience. We are not creating some kind of a theory. In fact, I don't go into theories at all. Your own experience, you must analyze it point blank, absolutely, without identification, without bringing in any bias, prejudice, any kind of pressure from outside. If you analyze it, you yourself will get all these clues. That is why Vedanta has had the greatest appeal on thinking minds. This is pure Vedanta what I am giving you. Even Western minds, Emerson, Walt Whitman, Thoreau, Schopenhauer, European thinkers, philosophers, all of them have felt the impact of this thought, because it is just an analysis of your actual state of being. It is not a construct, it is not another philosophy or theory. That is why this is so very powerful. It is a powerful aid towards self-development, because it is just pointing you to the reality of yourself. So, gather these clues together, think about them at some point of time, and you will see each clue is true. In fact, your identification with other things, it is because of some amount of pressure on your mind due to some external factor. But this is the most obvious fact about yourself, what is being discussed. After these clues, let us go into this yoga meditation techniques. When we say the prism of your mind is responsible for your interpretation of reality, so you see the universe is an interpretation of reality through the prism of your mind. That white light is nothing but Brahman, the ultimate reality. When it passes through your mind, it appears as this diverse world. This is what Vedanta will tell you. This is the heart of Vedanta. To understand how I am perceiving unity as diversity, how I am perceiving the one reality as this kind of a world. One consciousness, what in its essential existence is consciousness itself, existence itself, bliss itself, I am seeing as well enclosed in all so many forms, so many names, so many objects, doing all sorts of things. It is due to this, the prism of my mind. Once you transcend this prism, you are able to overcome mind and transcend. You will see only one thing, in all this diversity, not that the diversity vanishes for you, you see through it. You see the one reality that is expressing itself in all these ways. So, this is what Vedanta tells you.